here on set is our French politics editor, Marc Perelman. Marc, you were with me here listening to what the lawyers had to say. Some pretty strong words, weren't they? I mean, a dark day for him, for Sarkozy, for France, and for French institutions.
Yes, well, that's what they paid for. Clearly, they've said this during the trial, after the trial, and obviously this morning, as we saw this very mediatic entry. Obviously, it's a historic moment, but Nicolas Sarkozy clearly decided, we just heard Clovis saying what he said on social network, also the images of him not getting into his car and secretly going to the prison, coming out, walking hand in hand with his wife, who also had his 3 sons visit him in the wee hours today at home, and with some participants in a kind of protest or support session in front of his home. So obviously they want to put pressure on the appeals judges because, as the lawyers confirmed, they've already lodged a request for parole. They can do this every day that he's in jail. What one of the lawyers, Christophe Engrand, said is that the judges of the appeal court have a maximum of 2 months to decide. And he said that the request lodged today would be examined in a month. So this means, as he said, that Nicolas Sarkozy will spend at least 1 month in La Santé prison in the conditions we just described. Obviously, this is the first time a former president goes to jail. It is not the first time a president of the Fifth Republic was condemned. Jacques Chirac was condemned for misuse of public funds. He was already, after he left the presidency, it was a 2-year, but it was a suspended jail sentence that he accepted but never served. This is obviously a very different scenario that we're witnessing today. Is a 5-year jail term, and also the fact that during the appeal, Nicolas Sarkozy was sent to prison because there is suspicion, not that he could flee the country, but that he could maybe pressure other would-be participants or witnesses of changing their views, because what he's been condemned for is criminal conspiracy. Not corruption. There was an accusation of corruption. This was ruled out by the judges, but criminal conspiracy with others to maybe try to arrange financing from Muammar Gaddafi for his 2007 campaign. And the reasoning behind, one that his lawyers absolutely disagree with, is that if he is still out of prison, he could be in touch with his former lieutenants who have also been charged with this in a way to arrange their testimonies and present a version that would not be the truth in front of an eventual appeals court. So that's the reasoning. Obviously, Nicolas Sarkozy wants to put pressure on the judges. I should also add that we've seen a very unusual thing happen. He was received by Emmanuel Macron on Friday at the Élysée Palace. Emmanuel Macron said this was only a human gesture. The current Justice Minister, Gérald Darmanin, also said in an interview that he would visit Nicolas Sarkozy in jail. And the opposition is saying, wait a second, this is not normal. This is a way, insidious way, of putting pressure on the judges. The president, the justice minister, one receiving Nicolas Sarkozy, the other promising to visit him. So clearly, this is a very unusual prison sentence for a very unusual person going to prison. But there is political pressure around Nicolas Sarkozy, and there'll be probably political pressure every day until he gets his day to discuss the parole request that was filed this morning.
Well, let's show you that tweet, in fact, that you mentioned there, Marc, that tweet that Nicolas Sarkozy tweeted on his way to the prison. I will continue to attack this judicial scandal, was what he said when he took to Twitter, or X as it is now, of course. Hopefully we can show it to you. There it is, much more detailed than that, but he's about to cross the walls of the prison. My thoughts go to the French people. I want to tell them with the unwavering strength of his mind that the former president of the Republic, who's locked up this morning, is an innocent man. Again, very strong words that Nicolas Sarkozy is putting across there, Marc. I mean, Nicolas Sarkozy, he's not been president here in France, let's not forget now, for 13 years. His time as president was from 2007 to 2012. Thinking about other countries that we all know, I'm from the UK, I know what tends to happen in the UK. Presidents, prime ministers rather, tend to just disappear. In the US, it's very much the thing that you do when you're president. You keep your mouth shut, a former president. That's not necessarily the case here in France, is it? Nicolas Sarkozy has continued to be one of those real central figures, if you like, of French politics, even though he hasn't been in power for 13 years.
That's absolutely true. I mean, he still remains a central figure for the conservative party. He gets visits from leading politicians all day. He's kept really busy. He's also had interactions with Emmanuel Macron. Numerous meetings. I just mentioned the one on Friday, but before that, they've had a lot of interaction. He tried a comeback. You know, he always thought that he lost in 2012 against socialist François Hollande, but that it was unfair. He tried again to run in 2017, and he was resoundingly beaten in a primary contest for this job. So, and he's always thought that he deserves a second mandate. Clearly, this is not going to be possible anymore, but he is still seen as a central figure on the conservative side, and this is why there's still a lot of mobilization in the Républicain Party, his now party. They've all said that, you know, that this is unfair, that this is really unacceptable, that justice is not what it used to be, and so on and so forth. Other political parties obviously have differing opinions, but he is still a very polarizing and extremely present figure on the political scene, even nearly 13 years after he left power.
And when he comes out, we assume he will continue to try and take that path, even though, of course, he is a former French president who's been jailed.
Well, we already learned from one of his lawyers that he is going to write about his prison experience. He's written a number of books since he left power, so we can assume there'll be a new book about this experience. He believes that he has been targeted in numerous investigations because, yes, he was sentenced to jail, but he has other legal cases pending and really casting a shadow on him for years, and that some of them are still continuing. And so clearly Nicolas Sarkozy feels that he's not getting a fair treatment. Others are saying that he's always had issues with his campaign financing. The Libyan case, there was another case of his campaign in 2012 where he's also been condemned for overspending and trying to hide the financing. So there's always been this suspicion. He believes it's unfair, that it is political vendetta. Others are saying that Nicolas Sarkozy has always been, very close to the lines and has always tried to make sure things work, even though the financing was not 100% safe, that he's always been a bit of a gambler. He's said, no, I've always fought for my country. This is unfair, and I will face justice. So we can expect Nicolas Sarkozy to continue to be present. The assumption is that he will not spend a long time in jail, that his request for parole will soon be accepted, but soon means, as we just heard from his lawyer, at least 1 month.